So gone ahead and started recording, and we're also doing the transcription. All right, let's see. All right, so we can go ahead and get started. I hope everybody's Friday is going well. If everyone can just drop their name in the chat, we're going to start just trying to keep track of like who's attending the meeting. So if you guys can just drop your name in the chat, that will be super helpful. Right. Right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right. So August is a busy month. I know last session we talked about August being National Immunization Awareness Month, but August is also National Eye Exam Month. So this is just a good reminder for, the people that we work with, just to be aware that, people should be getting their eyes checked regularly. I linked two resources. Both basically have some of the same information. The CDC does have a couple more resources. So those are linked in the slides. Is basically just saying, 18 to 60, you should have an eye exam every two to 4 years. But then I saw on the CDC, it was basically saying ages like 18 to 60 every 2 years, and then children under the age of 18 once a year. And the same thing for adults over the age of 61, annual eye checkup. So those are some good resources to check out for National Eye Exam Month. And then I wanted to talk about our CHWs that went to the National Association of CHW conference. And so I included here a word cloud that Brooke shared with me. I thought this was really pretty. She said she made it herself, and, it was really, I thought about, all the things she said and how impactful the conference is. And it's always nice to be able to go and connect with other people and share your experiences. So I thought it would be a great idea if, a couple of the people who participated in that conference, whether it was in person or virtually, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing your experience. So I reached out to Brooke, and I was hoping that Brooke could share a little bit more about her experience at the conference. I know she mentioned quite a bit of things to me in her email, but I just wanted everyone to kind of hear it from her, since she was there in person. And so just for, maybe in the future years, if you guys want to attend this conference, then it's a really good idea to be able to connect with other community health workers from across the country and to share resources and experiences. So Brooke, if you don't mind sharing your experience, I would really appreciate it.
Sure. So my name is Brooke. I'm from Crossroads Medical Mission. We have a mobile unit, and we do, stuff here on premise as well. But I really didn't know what to expect going to a national conference like that. It was the first time I'd been exposed to things like that, but it was just so awesome. And, unfortunately, I don't feel like the resources were extremely helpful in the way like that we normally use resources, right? But it was good to get a lot of ideas on how other people are making connections to get resources for folks. Maybe there's a middleman that I wasn't quite aware of existed, or and most of them were tailored to actually Tennessee, because Texas, because that's where we were at. But I did, and I think I attached the copy for you in my email, but I did see some really cute little, like, very clever smoking cessation materials that, I had never seen anything like that laid out like that before. So I thought maybe that would be some good information on there to use for like social media posts and things like that. But the biggest takeaway I had is just really and truly how important self care is, and how, essentially they were saying, your cup has to be full because you're pouring out to so many different people on a daily basis. And if your cup's full, not full, then you're not going to be able to do the pour out like you want to. So, I really took that away. And I also was just mesmerized with she's the executive president of the National Community Health Worker Association. She was just a phenomenal speaker. And, I'm not, I think I've said this to numerous people, but I'm not the type of person that's a large scale advocate, right? I know how to advocate one on one for people, but her messages every morning, I mean, by the time she was finished, I was like, let's go march on Washington. She was just so wonderful. She was a wonderful speaker. And this word cloud actually, um, we did a breakout session for folks who were interested in obtaining a certification to potentially train other CHWs. So it wasn't like, the full class or whatever, but it was just like to give you an idea of what things would look like in a training like that. And I absolutely just was amazed. I mean, it was a full room. There was probably, I don't know, probably 40, 45 maybe people in there. And, we took the time, which was almost an hour, to go around, and it was the icebreaker question. And just to hear, the instructor had us, she's a CHW trainer out of, I believe she said Arizona. And that she has like a company that's what they do. They train CHWs. And she, it was just really, I don't know, humbling, I guess is a good way to put it, to hear everybody's icebreaker. They would introduce themselves, tell what their title was. Some was CHW and some was not, and then what they did. And then they would, her premise was, when you go out into the community to help people, what are you led by? Like, what's your motivation? And then what do you lead with? Like, how do you communicate with people, and what your expectations are of them? And so this word cloud is just all of the answers that everybody had during that time. And it was really, to not sound, mushy, it was just really beautiful, that of all the different, it was so diverse, and I know other folks in the, TCCN network, they're used to a lot of diversity. Um, I'm in Northeast Tennessee. So, I mean, although there is some diversity, um, being in that room with, I don't think that I've ever been in a situation like that was as diverse as it was. So it was just really, it was just so positive, and I never would have thought that I would have walked away from that experience um, feeling so much love for what we do, and love for community, and how important community is.
Thank you for sharing, Brooke. And I just really love that last thing that you wrote in your email. You said, no matter our titles, our communities depend on us to offer comfort, consistency, and to help in sometimes their darkest days. I love my community. Like, that just really stood out to me, because you did mention that there's like a variety of titles, community health workers come in like all different, areas of expertise and types of communities. And so, that just really kind of hits home to how amazing community health workers are. So I appreciate that. Anyone else who was at the conference that wants to share? Um, I know some people did the online version. How was that? I mean, it's probably not as impactful, and you don't get to experience the full thing, but I'm sure there was um, some good information um, with that. All right. All right. Well, again, this is an annual conference, so if you guys didn't get to attend this year, then be on the lookout for it next year. Um, and then I wanted to talk about COVID vaccines. As you guys know, community outreach is all about COVID, COVID, COVID. And so we know that the free vaccines are ending um, in October. I think that's when they're kind of scheduled to end. And I know there's a bridge program that's going to be, working to continue to provide vaccines for the underinsured, uninsured. So I just wanted a little bit more insight on maybe some of the conversations that you all are having in your clinics about how you guys are going to approach this transition. Is your organization currently providing vaccines? Are you guys going to continue to provide vaccines? Are you guys going to transition to referring people out? As part of the community outreach grant, we're working on reducing vaccine hesitancy. Um, so I kind of want to hear from you guys. What is it looking like within your organization when it comes to vaccines right now? What is the conversation sounding like? And if feel free to unmute yourself or write it in the chat. But this is something that we are, trying to figure out going forward. How can we best support you all um, as this transition occurs?
Good morning. This is Wendy with LifeSpring. So, LifeSpring has been providing vaccination since 2021 in the community. This month, though, we have decided to suspend our community vaccination events for a few reasons. One is we are missing key staff that was a part of that program. Another one is, of course, the vaccines are going to be, there's going to be a cost for them here in the near future. And also because they're available at many pharmacies now. And so we've decided to suspend our community vaccination events, but we will be providing COVID vaccines to our patients.
Thank you for sharing. Okay. All right, I'll read Brooke. She typed it in the chat. She says, we continue to receive a lot of hard no's when offering to our patients. We have 3 potential points of contact where this is addressed by CHWs. We will continue to offer vaccine coordination. Okay. And then Marlene asks, this October of this year? Yes. So within the next couple months, the free vaccines will be ending. And there is the bridge program that's going to be providing, I think, vaccines for like the health department and partnerships with like certain pharmacies and the what are they the federally qualified health centers. I always forget the acronym. So, one of the conversations we're having is, will free and charitable clinics also be able to participate in that program to be able to continue to receive vaccines, to be able to continue to provide those to their patients. Anyone else want to share? And then another question I did have was if you guys wanted to share you know, how your outreach is going when it comes to kind of still trying to promote, the COVID vaccine and vaccinations in general. Um, we are 1 month into year 2. So if anyone also would want to share how that effort is going as far as, promoting COVID-19. I know we still don't have our material from MPNF yet, but I can share the again the link to the resource page. Let me share my screen. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. When you go to your membership, you log in. And then once you log in, if you have a profile, sometimes it'll take you to your profile. You can go to groups. Under groups, you can join the community health worker group. Once you're in the community health worker group, you can go to pages and there is a CHW resource. So I uploaded the graphics that Brooke sent. And so this is where you can see those. So it's on smoking, vaping, what is a vape, e-cig, and then nicotine and pets. So this is that resource that she shared with me. I went ahead and uploaded it to the CHW resource page through your membership. Anyone can upload any links, or you can upload the file directly. So for example, you want to add a file, just go to add a file. It'll say if it's a file or a URL, and then you just title it, give a description. And that's how you can upload there. So again, this is where I have some COVID graphics for AmeriCares, the MPNF stuff, and I just added the smoking graphics. But again, anyone can feel free to join the group and then share any resources here as well. And that again is through your membership. All right, anyone else have any comments, questions?
Hey, this is Wendy again.
Wendy, go ahead.
I will say a challenge, especially with the Year 2 grant, where we don't have to necessarily provide COVID vaccine events, but we still have that education piece, just how to get out there in the community and, tackle the concerns as far as, for instance, 65 and up. They may have had 6 COVID vaccines already. So just trying to get them to understand that there may be a 7th one coming, and just try to, make them feel more comfortable about that. And it's a little difficult right now for us because, there is this new booster coming out. And so a lot of people are saying, well, I'm just going to wait for the new booster. So trying to explain to them what up to date means. So up to date doesn't mean you wait on that new booster. The current boosters out there should be able to provide some protection from the strain that's going around. So just those things has been a challenge for us.
And I definitely understand that. We are hoping that, some of the information that we share is going to be helpful. And then, we are looking at some other graphics that we can share with you all about, where, because it's always hard to understand, like, what, if they've been vaccinated, what's their next, booster, or if they've never been vaccinated, where to start. And so hopefully soon we'll have some more graphics and information to share to make it a little easier to be able to like explain to people, like, if this is where you are with your status, then this is like the booster you should be taking, and something that's like visually easy to share with someone, and make it a little easier for them to be like, oh yeah, this is where I am. And hopefully, being able to have that conversation will make it a little bit easier for them to be a little bit more willing to go ahead and get that booster, and as you say, be up to date, and not hold off on like, oh, I'll just wait on the next one. But yeah, we hopefully will have more graphics and information to share about that, since I know that new booster is coming out. And then I was on a webinar, and they were talking about how, like, going forward, they want the COVID vaccine to be seen kind of like as the flu shot. Like, it's something that you're hopefully going to be getting every year. And as there's always a new strain coming out. So the boosters, supposed to kind of be like the flu shot, where it's towards that main strain. That's the most one that's being seen. So yeah, so there's definitely a lot of things that are changing about COVID, and how, we approach the vaccines, and how to kind of get people to get vaccinated and stay vaccinated. Marlene put in the comments, we will be doing seasonal flu shots on August 22nd from 12 to 4, free to the public. COVID vaccines on August 31st from 11 to 2 p.m. And then she shared the address for that as well. So that is in the comments. All right, and then the last couple things I wanted to touch upon upcoming. We still haven't decided the date for our next in-person meeting. It's still going to be October. We are trying to coordinate with a couple of moving elements. One of the big things is hopefully MPNF will have our new marketing material ready by then, and we would really like for our next in-person meeting to again have MPNF present, and them kind of share with us their ideas and suggestions on how we can best share the new marketing material with our communities, and to provide the toolkit that they've been working on for our CHWs. So hopefully, that will all come together in October. MPNF is currently still doing focus groups. So the first focus group was with the CHWs back in the July in-person meeting, and now they're going to be doing focus groups in different regions. So that's kind of where we are with the marketing campaign. They want to make sure that the marketing material that was presented to you all is presented in the different regions, and how people are perceiving it. So those focus groups will be happening at the end of this month, and so hopefully September, everything's going to come together, and hopefully by October we will have that ready for y'all. But as you know, timelines change, and things always get pushed back. So hopefully we will have something for you all soon. Does anyone have any questions about the marketing campaign or the next in-person meeting? And then obviously we're going to try to get more presenter speakers present at that meeting as well. We hear the feedback from the last one, so we're going to try to continue to provide useful and relevant information for you guys. All right. Well, if no one has any other questions or comments, that is all the information I have for you guys today. All right. I hope you guys have a happy Friday. Have a good weekend, everyone. And any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to me. Right. Have a great day, everyone.